Hey everybody, back again with another video. This time we're going to be talking about soil. On our first video, quick recap, we talked about getting your plan in place, getting your location, picking out a light, figuring out what's going to work for your situation. And then we did go over a couple bucket sizes. So today's video is going to be all about soil. We're going to be focusing on the Fox Farm, Ocean Forest, Happy Frog. Those are going to be your safest and best bet for a new grower and getting into doing it for yourself. You're going to see all kinds of build the soils, which are amazing. They're quite advanced. This video is going to be all about what you're going to need, the basics to get started. You don't need all this fancy stuff. Down the road, if you want to advance your growing skills and you want to do all these different specialty items, that is definitely the way to go. Again, these videos are just to get you going, to be able to do it for yourself. So one of the first things you will need, okay, after you get your seeds and you get your probably little peat moss cups, or if you have a little cocoa core cup that you use, you're going to want to get some of the Happy Frog. The deal with the Happy Frog is it doesn't really have nutrients, so it's a very light, what they call medium. It's something for the seed to grow in. They do enrich it with a mycorrhiza or mycorrhiza, and please forgive me for all of my mispronunciations, which the point of that is it grows on the roots of your plants and helps break down the nutrients that are in the soil and feeds it to the plants. So the Happy Frog goes ahead and gives your plants a nice jump start right away in the beginning with starting that microbial life down in your soil. With all of your soils, no matter where you buy them from, what you do, you always want to open them up and dry them out a little bit. Fox Farm's very good as far as not having pests in them. Part of the reason why you do pay more is I do believe they actually bake their soils to kill off any sort of pest. They do some sort of process. That's why they are a little more. And we'll go over the benefit of actually paying a little bit more for your soil versus buying something you would find like a bag of Miracle-Gro per se at a grocery store or even your local hardware store. So the Happy Frog, you get it open, you pull out what you need to get started and let that dry out. And you break it up down into a real fine, you break up all the clumps down into its natural loose form. And that's what you're going to use to plant your seeds in to get them going. You can definitely add a little bit more. I use a bag called Mycos. It will be shown later in the video. I do also mix a little bit of that in near the bottom of my little starter cups for as soon as I do transfer them, they have a nice healthy bed of life going on in the soil ready to go. As far as the ocean forest goes, the ocean forest, it's very rich in your nitrogen. So the reason the bag is $20 or so, that is the only nutrient it basically has in it that your plants really want. Whereas if you go with your Miracle-Gro, they have those little slow release pellets in there. You really don't want your plants getting a shot of nitrogen later in your flowering stage. And because you don't have control over when those nutrients release, that's why most growers tend to stay away from the Miracle-Gro soil, not the starting soil, which you'll see in the video here, but they're actual enriching soil. So the Fox Farm Ocean Forest, you don't want to really use that for your seedlings because it is very rich in the nitrogen. A lot of people do say that it could burn your seeds, could burn the taproot. Me personally, I have not tried it. I just go with the averages. If a lot of people are saying it's burning the taproot, I'm not even going to waste one of my seeds because as we're finding out, seeds are quite expensive. So you stick with the Happy Frog to start. On the screen, you see the Miracle-Gro potting mix. I do add in a little bit of that. What I've personally noticed is that the Miracle-Gro, it actually has a tiny, it's a 0.01% or 0.5% nitrogen. But what I found with that, it's very fine. Peat moss, basically just broken up. It does help with the removal of the seed head. So once your seed sprouts, I have noticed that stuff tends to really kind of get in there and get that helmet popped off. I don't really have issues with the seed sticking when I use that. Also, what you see here is a little bit of perlite I got from my local grow store. I was in luck. They usually sell just enormous bags. I didn't need any at this moment for the video. Thankfully, they had broken a bag and were able to sell me a little bit just so I could show in the video. All of these soils, you're going to want to add in some perlite. An average rule of thumb that I have heard was 1 8-ounce like solo cup for every gallon of soil. I've actually kind of stuck with that and it's worked out perfectly. So with the Fox Farm, as you hear me saying, it's very rich in the nitrogen. There's enough nitrogen in that soil to carry you through veg 90% of the time. The only times it's not going to carry you through veg is if you're going to be vegging for 4 months and you're trying to grow some monstrous plant. Well, at that point, you're going to have to add into it because it will have eaten through all the nutrients in that soil. So the Mycos you see on here, that is, I'm not even going to attempt it's pure micro or whatever inoculate. It's amazing. That it's like a $6 bag. I got that I have Ace Hardware right around the road from me. So I just ran and got that. I've been using that ever since I heard about it. It's been amazing. So to get started, the bare basics we're looking at here is a bag of your Happy Frog, a bag of Ocean Forest, some perlite, and if you can swing it, go ahead and get some of that Mycos. And if you're running autoflowers, you'll add it in. If you layer your soils, which we can go over that at a later time, if you layer your soils, you'll add some of that in between layers. But anytime you transfer your plants, you're going to want to put a healthy dose of that on your roots. So if you're going from a solo cup to a 1 or 2 gallon, you pull it out, you cover all over the sides of that cup, and it basically stops the transfer shock and lets those roots just go wild. So quick recap, kind of the basics you need to get going. Stay tuned for our next video. We'll start going over what nutrients and what to do with your water. You gotta do something special with your water. You don't use tap water. All right, guys, enjoy. Stay tuned and watch how we grow.